The Dukascopy TV team once again brings you the week ahead, where we invite a guest to talk about several key data releases or events that could shake the markets in the week beginning Monday the 5th of November. Today is the first day of the trading week. Joining me on the line is Theodore Kekstadt, President at Forex Trading Unlocked. Hello, Theodore. A rate cut is expected to be made by the Reserve Bank of Australia on Tuesday. Do you think a cut is likely?
I think that they're going to be weighing the consumer confidence and sentiment in Australia before they, I know it's expected that they cut. The only thing is with the Aussies, especially right now, you look, there's going to be a demand for a lot of commodities coming up, especially in the wake of Sandy and a lot of things that are going on in China. If they cut the rates, the Aussies, unlike the Americans, won't be spending. They're big on saving, and if they cut rates, then they see themselves as making less money at the bank, which means they're going to spend less money on their savings. So actually, I think that most likely, in lieu of the fact that the elections are also going on in the U.S., that they might actually postpone. If they want to cut the rate, I think they might actually wait to see how the elections turn out.
And Australian unemployment is expected on Thursday. Can you see it going up or down?
Right now, I think that it's going to be pretty stable. I think that, especially in the lieu of what's going on with the way the currencies have been moving and stuff, I think that their exports are going to be in more demand. So I think right now they're probably, obviously the number is in the past, but I think it's going to be pretty much stable. I don't think it's going to be lower.
The Bank of England rate decision will be made on Thursday. Do you expect the rate to remain unchanged?
I think that depending on the election in the U.S., if Romney gets elected, I think that they might stay unchanged. I think if Obama gets elected, for sure they're going to cut the rate. That I believe. I think if Romney gets elected, I think they're going to wait and see what happens with the markets for a few weeks before they make a final decision on that. I think they would be more likely to push off a rate cut. But I think if Obama wins the election, I think that the Bank of England for sure is going to cut the rate.
China's ruling Communist Party has transformed backwater to economic giant. As China prepare for a major leadership change this week, what results can we expect?
That's actually a good question. I was at the FIA Expo last week in Chicago, and I actually went to a symposium about China, and they were talking about this whole changeover of leadership. And to be quite honest with you, I think if this goes through smoothly, I think for China it's a good thing. I think for Chinese trade it's a good thing. To be quite honest with you, I think it's going to, in the short run, it might cost China a little bit more because they might be putting more into human rights and making things a little bit better for conditions for people. But I think that it's a positive shift for sure. Because, you have communism running on a capitalist model, and I think that they're going to be, with this new changeover, if it goes smoothly, I think that the markets are going to be will free up a little bit more. I think they might be a little bit more flexible with the yuan and might actually move it a little bit, which would be better for trade for everyone else, instead of leaving it as static as it's been. I think honestly, if this goes through smoothly and it's accepted politically, in China, I think it's actually going to be a plus for everybody.
Polls are suggesting it's a close race for the US presidential elections. How do you think the outcome will affect the US economy?
Well, right now it seems like it's almost a dead heat. My prediction is that Romney will get the popular vote and Obama's going to get the electoral vote no matter what. So, you're going to get the electoral votes. You're obviously going to be the next president. The only thing I could see Romney winning would be he would have to take Ohio and Wisconsin and Michigan. I don't see him taking Michigan. Wisconsin's up for grabs, and Ohio is kind of a tight state. So he has to win all three of those states. If he doesn't win those three states, he's not going to win the election because he won't have the electoral votes. But I do believe he will, no matter what, win the popular vote nationally. So that's kind of, almost a no-brainer right now. As far as the economy, I think that if Obama gets elected, we're looking at a fiscal cliff in February. He's going to push to raise the debt ceiling. You're looking at, the predictions are at least under 5 $6 trillion on our debt over another term with him in office. So I think that is going to be, for the markets, a very, very bad thing. And also with the whole new taxing of dividends and everything else that they want to push through in January. So people, I think it's going to be sell the stock market. You have to if he gets elected, no matter what, just to save your money. If Romney gets elected, I think no matter what, I think it's going to be choppy going forward over the next 6 months, unless oil stays, relatively stable. But I think if he gets elected, I think there's going to be much more of a positive light for the market. I think that all across the board, I think you're going to see banks knowing that they're going to have, you're going to probably see a shift with the Fed. But I think as far as, business in general, I think for U.S. protectionism and things like that, I think it's going to be a good thing. I think Romney would be, economically, he would stop the spending. It just has to happen no matter what. The debt ceiling is going to be an issue if he's president that he would have to face. Either one has to face it, but I think that he would face it in a different way. I think he's all about, honestly, about cutting expenses from the government. And if that's something that we do, which is something we have to do, otherwise we this country is really in a lot of trouble. So I believe that's really going to go through if he gets through it, because the Congress also, I think, will be able to work with Romney. I don't see them working with Obama. He's going to be a lame duck president if he gets reelected. Nothing's going to happen. The health care thing is just way too costly, and everything that they talk about expires in the summer of next year anyhow. So the whole health care thing is nothing but a sham after a year from now. It doesn't count anymore. It won't exist. The whole Obama health care doesn't exist after July of 2013.
Thanks for joining me, Theodore. Well, that's all we've got time for right now, but you can watch the weekly wrap-up on Friday with my colleague Natalie McDonald. Until then, stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more updates and interviews. For now, though, goodbye.